This program is brought to you as a public service by Maui Causes.
I spoke 2 weeks ago about how money owed to the county from 3-lot or less subdivision deferral agreements by law is supposed to be accounted for in the county's annual budget for public works, but never is. To recap, deferral agreements were originally intended to allow parents to divide and give parcels to their kids without having to install curbs and sidewalks and move utilities. The deal was that at some future time when the county initiates a roadway improvement along that frontage, that the landowner will get a bill for their share of the cost. No specific dollar amounts were ever mentioned. It was a sloppy system, badly managed. For decades, Corporation Counsel wrote thousands of these agreements and literally stuffed them in boxes, and no one ever kept track. Even though capital improvement projects have been performed that should have triggered the collection, the county has never collected on any of them. The loss to us taxpayers could be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. They were supposed to be a one-time thing. No parcel so divided shall be divided again. But those in the know knew that no one was looking. They applied for and politically appointed directors allowed multiple overlapping subdivision deferrals. That's a TMK number where there's a -1, then a -A, then a -1. There's no legal basis for those dashes. So in all likelihood, there's no way to ever legally collect on those deferral agreements. Those dashes have also allowed the 3 lots to be turned into 8 or 9 or more if there's condominiums involved. That's a huge difference in density. And even after all this was made public, Corporation Counsel continued to write new subdivision deferral agreements, knowing full well that they were not worth the paper they were written on. Ms. Cochran tried 5 years ago to get Corporation Counsel to make a determination as to whether they could be collected on and was met by a stone wall. Deferral infrastructure improvement projects have actually been killed because they would have triggered collection of these deferral agreements, and they apparently didn't want to do that. So rather than do the infrastructure project, they killed the infrastructure project. Citizens have been hurt by all this. Corporation Counsel is hiding what they have done. They have withheld public documents. They have lied to the court. And they are, to this day, intimidating and manipulating the members of this council. Our charter allows this council to launch an investigation into any issue that comes before it. Yet the council has never done that. So, okay, if the council thinks that all it can do is pawn the problem off to the county auditor, then do that. But not just the deferral agreements. You need to include the SMA minor permits as well, because those in the know that no one is looking there either. Land planning firms know that no one will question their stamp on a falsified order of magnitude statement. They know that a politically appointed director will issue them an SMA minor permit and even exempt them completely for ever having to have any public input or do any environmental assessments, in direct violation of federal coastal zone management laws. The Arakawa administration doesn't care if their injection wells violate federal clean water regulations. They even wasted our tax money defending them vigorously and lost. Why would they care about issuing SMA minor permits instead of SMA major permits that mandate public input and environmental studies? They don't care. Dollars to donuts if the auditor looks at a parcel with multiple overlapping deferral agreements and an SMA permit application with an order of magnitude statement just below the threshold to get an SMA minor permit instead of an SMA major permit. That order of magnitude statement will be fraudulent. That's why 2 weeks ago, Maui Causes launched an online public petition through change.org that in a very short period of time has collected close to 1,400 signatures asking our county auditor to investigate the deferrals, SMA minors, and full-on exemptions issued at the full discretion and protection of by the mayor's politically appointed directors. I know this can be confusing. The complexity makes your head explode. But the two are often tied together. On shoreline properties, the work that gets put off by the deferral agreement is often the work that would otherwise be required as a condition of the SMA permit. They are tied together. But those in the know that the county doesn't do any final inspections on SMA minor permits unless a citizen files a complaint. Like Olowalu and Montana Beach, the developers get away with murder. We think there are thousands of Olowalus and Montana Beaches out there. We believe a simple, focused audit will expose the loopholes in the SMA permitting process and reveal the massive number of multi-million-dollar private oceanfront developments where citizens have been legally cut out of the review and approval process. In order to end the decades-long exploitation of Maui taxpayers, our ocean life, reefs, and shoreline, we call on each council member to sign our petition as well and join hands with the citizens in our request of Maui's independent auditor to identify and close the loopholes that facilitate the irresponsible management of federal environmental laws and our tax dollars.
If there are certain amount of deferrals that are out there, what do we do with them now? Can we collect on them or not? These are the questions that we need to be answered.
Despite the ongoing violations by county officials proven to have incurred liability on the county at Montana Beach, Olowalu, Palama Drive, multiple overlapping subdivisions, SMA permanent subdivision law violations, county authorized litigation against whistleblowers and private citizens who are one of whom is a former executive assistant to this council, who are trying to expose this corruption. They are systematically punished and litigated against, authorized by this council using a conflicted legal counsel led by Patrick Wong.
The topic involved in the resolution still is squarely being dealt with, as you heard the testifiers say, in litigation.
Yes, there is a deferral agreement item in IEM, which we addressed and tried to move it forward, and it kind of got to stand still with litigation and what have you.
I would like to ask the chair to please ask Mr. Wong to recuse himself from any deliberations regarding the budgetary resolutions or the deferral resolution audit, because he is a party to litigation presently pending that relates directly to those issues.
Our office prefers that another branch of the county government would not explore an area where we're involved in active litigation.
I sit here as a representative of the community. The community has come forward in testimony making requests. I'm aware of the petition that's moved forward, that there's at least 1,500 constituents from our community making this request. I stand to support this.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Measure passes with 9 ayes.
This program is brought to you as a public service by Maui Causes. Maui Causes is a crowd-funded media production group that provides media production services to a variety of environmental and progressive causes here in Maui County. Visit us on the web at www.mauicauses.org.